Welcome back to the Pop of the Man podcast. I'm your host, Jay. With me today, I have my always loyal co-host, Cord. What's up, Cord?
How you been? How you been? Chaos is the ladder. It's the cyberpunk monk in the building. Do catchphrase.
Okay. Cyberpunk monk.
The cyberpunk monk. Okay. Are there actual monks in cyberpunk?
No. I'm playing cyberpunk. Play Ricardo got a song called Punk Monk. Cyberpunk monk. It's their time.
Okay. I'll take your word for that. Also join us today.
If these monks on the game, though, I forget.
There are monks in the game in the city. In the cybernetic city, there are monks.
No implant edge, just regular monks.
Okay. Also joining me today, I have my right hand man. I got DeLon with me. What's up, DeLon?
Y'all know what it is. In Mississippi, Minnesota, Maniac, the Timberwolves terror, the leader of the Anthony Edwards and Justin Jefferson fan club. How are y'all doing?
That's great. I love the new intro, DeLon. And then joining us today, we have the number one Suns fan in the nation. We got the one and only Cam. What's up, Cam?
Hey, man, you know what it is, Suns Nation. And for 2021, we are going to give you an interesting basketball fact to start the show. Did you guys know that until 1938, after every basket, they did the center court jump ball?
Jesus Christ.
That's a long game.
Jesus Christ.
That's a long game.
I did not know that.
That's whack. There's no other way. There's no other word for that. Thank God. Basketball evolved a lot. I've read read a book a long time ago in high school. I think it was like middle school. Actually, it was like the evolution of basketball. And they did a lot of weird shit back in the day. But
imagine getting dunked on, you got to tip off.
Get dunked on the other man. He waited at mid-court. You still getting up.
Yeah,
give me 1 second.
Some tells me with the population that was playing in 1938, there wasn't too much dunking.
Yeah, that's true.
No, most definitely not. I don't think dunking didn't come until, I might be wrong. I think dunking didn't come until Kareem. No. I think Kareem. They banned dunking. They banned dunking because
I was just about to say. So in 1967, the dunk I think was illegal, and
those facts.
Yeah.
Well, to say the rest of your facts for every episode, I'm gonna look forward to this every week now. This is episode 122 of the Pop of the Man podcast. This is the first episode of 2021. This is the third year of the Pop of the Man podcast's existence. Thank you all who have tuned in tirelessly every single Monday to check us out. We love all of y'all. We love everybody who interacts with us on Twitter at Podcast the Man. And I want to say a special shout out to all my co-hosts who make this possible every week. So shout out to you guys. Y'all deserve a round of applause.
Yo. Shout out to Crip and Cord. Shout out to Bloody Bam.
But you know what we do? We give our takes on basketball, music, and everything in between. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening to this on any streaming service, make sure you give us 5-star, 10 stars, 10 circles, 5 circles, whatever system they use on their streaming service. This month we are for the album club. We are doing Hell Hath No Fury. So if you want to see that episode, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube. Eventually, the album club episodes will be exclusively on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube if you want to keep seeing that content. All right, so let's go and get the first episode of the year on the roll. I'm excited. We haven't done like a normal episode in probably like a month. So the first topic of the day is we're going to talk about Nicki Minaj versus Tracy Chapman. The two went to war in court over a song that I believe that Nicki Minaj produced in 2018, which featured Nas. The problem is that the song sampled a famous Tracy Chapman song. Nicki Minaj said that she was not aware that Tracy Chapman originally was the originator of the song and said that she originally sampled it from another song that also sampled Tracy Chapman. Tracy said that she didn't want the song released, said that she did not okay the sample. I don't think Tracy ever okays samples for any of her music. So that's just how she is. She's very prideful in her music and her work and doesn't like anybody tampering with it. So what's the problem? The problem is that Funk Master Flex ends up playing the record on the radio. Tracy hears it. Tracy is livid. She's wondering, why is this song being played after I said I didn't give an okay for the sample? So that's why she takes Nicki Minaj to court. Nicki Minaj gets in court and she says that she didn't give the song to Funk Flex. Funk Flex said that he got it through a blogger that he is friends with, and that somehow ripped it from Nicki Minaj and got it, but Tracy says that Nicki gave it to Flex. Like there was a lot of communication between them, and she believes Nicki gave it to Flex, told Flex to play it on without her knowing. So the thing is, the song never actually was put on an album. It was never put on streaming services. It was only played on the radio once by Flex, and that's what led to the legal case. This, I believe, is I'm gonna ask you guys this: what would this have meant for music? Because this is a situation of a artist being sued for experimentation of a song and not actually releasing it and monetizing it. So just to put that in more perspective, that means that like rappers who made mixtapes that had a bunch of sample clearances on it that they didn't get, that means that if this case had won, if Tracy Chapman had won this case, they actually settled the case. They just agreed to undisclosed, I forget, I think it was like $45,000, something like that. They just paid her out in a settlement, so she didn't win the case. Tracy Chapman didn't.
I think it was 450,000.
400. That sounds a lot higher. 450,000. That's what they settled on. So Tracy didn't win this case. But what would that have meant for music if she had actually won?
I kind of think it's kind of a different situation than a lot of the things we talk about with the DAT Piffs and the whatchamacallit. Because in my opinion, I may be wrong. I do believe that it became monetized once it got played on the radio. Because at that point, you're bringing in ads, you're bringing in syndication. So at that point, it wasn't monetized for Nicki, but it was monetized for Flex. So somebody had to pay up. I also think Flex should have been the one held accountable for that instead of Nicki, but it is what it is. What it would have meant for music, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's like the same road and path we've been down before with the Mac Miller Lord Finesse thing. I don't know when we're coming to that point, but we are going to get to that point eventually where if it's on the internet, if it's being heard, you will get caught for it.
Come on, say, because rap music, there's always been a pandemic or an epidemic of music being leaked. Like Young Thug got how many unreleased songs recorded on the internet?
About 300.
Now imagine him getting sued for each and every last one of those songs that didn't get cleared, that just leaked onto the internet. That's a lot of money. That's all I'm gonna say. I can't do all that from my head. That's the nature of the biz. I think Kendrick Lamar had a song that leaked, and it featured a Michael Jackson 5 sample. Like imagine if Michael Jackson estate was like, well, this should have never seen the internet. Let me go and sue you. So I think Delon is right, and I think that's what makes this case separate from just those situations. The fact that the song got played on the internet. Flex should have been the one that was held accountable because he's the one that played the music. And if Flex is saying that Nicki didn't give it to me, then he definitely should have been the one at fault. But then again, can the DJ be at fault for playing a song that he was given if he didn't produce it? You know what I'm saying? It's like me getting my hands on the record and me playing it somewhere. The copyright problem is not with me because I didn't make the record. It's with the person who made it. It shouldn't exist. And I think that's like the scary part of what this could have meant was that songs cannot be created. And
I think that's the issue of masters versus publishing. Because I think that's like I think with Flex it was a publishing issue, and with Nicki it would be a master's issue if it had ever gotten cleared. Mm-hmm. But I think this will all come down to not necessarily a laws about playing those things. It'll come down to who's accountable for it, because it's, especially in this technology era that we're in, it's really unrealistic to not expect leaks, because rappers are going to record songs and then present it to the people who they're trying to get the sample from. It's unrealistic to say, hey, don't record anything until you get the sample cleared. Like, that's just not going to happen. No. And with that being said, people are going to be able to hack stuff. So is it on the engineers? Is on the engineer to keep it like a super secure thing? Is it on the person who Flex got it from who's supposed to be in trouble for it? Like, there's so many things. I don't know. I think it's going to come down to who's being accountable for it. But yeah, money should have came out of Flex.
Another person you got to think about is like the labels. Like a lot of times, like artists send music to the label, see what they think about the song. Because sometimes it might be a single, so of course the label got to hear it. So I imagine if artists will record a song, they will send it to the label first and say, "Hey, is this a song you think I can use as a single?" Once they get the okay for that, then they will go, about getting the sample clearances and things of that nature. So this is a lot of hands to touch it. Leaks are like a realistic part of music is going to happen. I think. Do you guys think that Tracy Chapman overreacted? Because, like I said, Nicki did not include this. She did not include this song on her album. It was originally going to be on her album. She removed it from her album. Queen, I believe it was supposed to be on Queen. She removed it from Queen. Was not on any streaming services. It got played once on the radio. I guess it remains to be seen if Flex would have played it more.
And see, that's I was about to say that's the thing I was gonna get into. It's interesting because had she not done that, would he have continued to play the song and then continually monetize possibly off of the song? And then that kind of gets into it. So I mean, it's you can kind of say yeah, she might have done too much, but then let's say the song keeps getting played now and you never did anything. Now you're just missing out on money that should have been yours.
Yeah. Also, another person we didn't think about was the song was recorded with Nas. So apparently, Nas's camp would have had a recording of the song as well. So one of them could have very well have given it to Flex as well. Like Nicki could have been told, no, you can't use it. And like, okay, Nas might not have gotten the memo and sent it to Flex himself, and like his name was left out of it to keep him out of trouble. But it's like it's a lot.
He should have known it was a Tracy Chapman song.
That's what a couple people I've talked to said. It was like they should have known it was a Tracy Chapman song. But Nicki said somebody else sampled that particular song, and she got the sample from that song. That's what inspired the song that they end up making. That was her claim. And so I think, like I said, going by what you said, Cam, and after I thought about it, I don't think Tracy overreacted. That's her
That's her music.
That's her music. That's
her
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't blame her for being protective of it. At least she's consistent. At least she's not like picking and choosing who uses her music. She just like, no, my music is off limits. I don't want anybody to really sample it. And
don't sample Prince, don't sample Tracy Chapman, and don't sample Marvin Gaye, or they coming for you.
Big old fact.
They coming for you.
Day on that comes
and if you're gonna sample Marvin Gaye, you gotta put him on the song.
You got to. They coming for you.
But like I said, I think this is a good thing. This case didn't go all the way through because this is a scary precedent that it would have set that possibly that it would have affected songs that didn't get played on radio. It might have been a precedent because the fair use isn't played. Like you're supposed to be able to create things and not sell it. Like you're supposed to be able to experiment. But if there was a ruling that went down and removed fair play, that would have changed music forever. Even though they would mostly it would have gotten rid of all the old music because these days nobody really makes mixtapes anymore. Almost all the music you get, even though they say it's a mixtape, if it's on streaming service, they had to get the samples cleared. So the music you see on this music that you see on Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, all that stuff samples been cleared. That's an album. I don't care what anybody say. That's an album. So
that's not what Carl Crawford say, but
what did Carl Crawford say?
Meg Thee Stallion's contract situation last year. Those was mixtapes, Meg. Hey, y'all remember that weird 2 months when Nicki Minaj and Nas were dating?
Yeah. Okay. You know when Jordan brought him the Nicki Minaj, I forgot about that.
I forgot about it too until Juan just said it. Yeah, they dated for 6 months. I think it was like reports saying that they were spending the night together, but they weren't having sex. I don't know why. I don't know why we were reported that fact. But
which one of them leaked it?
I don't know. You're right, because somebody had to leak it. Like somebody had.
Man,
whose decision was that?
You know what I'm saying? I'm probably.
I feel like that was a Nas decision. I feel like that was a Nas decision. Funny enough.
And the crazy thing, it was like one of them celebrity couples. Like you know when people get together, it's supposed to be like a big deal, and everybody was like, "Oh, okay."
It felt like it was for cameras. That's all it felt like it was for me. Like I was like, "There's no way. This doesn't seem real."
So I was like, Nicki and Nas.
And it was over before it started.
Weirder combination: Nicki and Nas, or Meg Thee Stallion and G-Eazy.
Don't remind me. Don't scratch it.
She said they were not together.
Moneybag Yo for 2 weeks.
We saw the pictures, Jordan. We saw the pictures.
Moneybag Yo for a good little minute.
Documentation.
Remember that though?
Yeah.
Hey man, Meg clouded up a lot in a year.
Hey, Cord. Hey.
Meg Stallion or Tory Lanez and Nicki Minaj or Nas.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold you. We're gonna have this topic one of these days, man. Hey, I'll salute the Meg. Y'all know, y'all already know. I ain't gonna say it, but y'all already know.
All right.
That's a wild lineup. I ain't gonna hold you.
Question: Has anybody heard the song, the Nicki Minaj song? Has anybody heard it?
No, I actually haven't.
I have not, because I don't want to get sued by Tracy Chapman.
Never thought about listening to it.
No,
It just didn't cross my mind.
like those two, like, Nicki Minaj and Nas. No.
Over Tracy Chapman sample. Yeah.
It probably sounds exactly like the Nicki Meek Mill songs.
What's
your name? My name Meek.
I was.
Hey, remember that video? She was brushing his hair sideways.
Oh my god!
I remember that video. She brushed his side.
I was about to bring it. I'm glad I was about to bring it up. I was like, did y'all actually enjoy the love ballads that Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill made? I did not.
No, because we had to hear 2 years of I got the baddest chick in the game. I'm with the queen. I'm with Nicki. I got so tired of hearing it. Like we get it. Jesus, okay, damn.
And then a year.
Do one thing. He's gonna run something to the ground. He's gonna beat that dead horse.
And then a year bringing it up after it was over too.
Yeah, we still bringing it up.
All right, so let's go into the next topic. Let's talk about COVID and the NBA. We're in this truncated season, 72-game season. Preseason was only like preseason was like 2 weeks. Training camp started December 1st. Games actually started. The actual games, like the regular season games, started December 22nd. So there was only 21 days of training camp plus preseason, and also like the off season started like 2 weeks before that. So it was a very peculiar beginning to the season with a even more peculiar start to the season. You've seen the Clippers lose the worst game ever. They lost by 51 points, I believe. They were down by 50 points at the half. So that means that even after losing by 50 in the first half, they still lost the second half by a point. The league has seen, I think that like I saw a statistic last night that 25% of all the games that have occurred so far have been decided by 20 points. So there's been a lot of blowouts this season. There's been some peculiar things going on, like the Hornets beat the Nets, but I don't know how peculiar that is. We don't really know exactly how good the Nets defense actually is. We see a lot of strange things.
Bradley Beal dropping 60 and losing.
That's not really strange. That's pretty normal. Okay. That's a normal thing.
Sorry.
He did that last year. He said, Bradley Beal said, we cannot defend a parked car right now.
That was hilarious.
That's tough.
I think also I saw a stat before we go on. I think Bradley Beal is 1-11 when he scores more than 40 points in his career.
Oh my god.
Get that man out of there.
So that's he signed I'm a firm believer if you sign an extension, ain't no saving you. That's he dug that grave for himself. Let him rot in it.
Cause the Lakers and the Clippers wanted him that offseason. He was like, nah, I'm gonna stay here with John.
The Heat wanted him, the Nuggets wanted him. The Celtics,
literally everybody wanted him.
The Celtics would have reported that they wanted him and they were close to getting him, but then they wouldn't have done it.
Danny wasn't gonna do it.
The Nets would have been interested. There's a lot of teams that were very good that would have wanted Bradley Beal. Bill said, nope, I'm going to sign this extension. I'm committed to Washington. I respect it, but at the same time, don't nobody need to be saying we need to save Beal. He chose that bed. Let him lie in it.
So he was only got to DC this week. Boy, I tell you what.
Boy.
There you go.
Hold that thought.
Somebody got worse defense. The Wizards of the Capitol. Talk to me, people. Let me know.
I'm gonna say, well, the Capitol stopped a couple of people, so
yeah.
They stopped a couple of people. But the Wizards,
man.
Goodness gracious. So we're not here to really shit on the Wizards, at least not today. We'll do that later on in the season because they'll be the exact same team 10 games from now.
Don't do that.
What do y'all think? What do y'all think is the cause for all of this? Like these abnormal 20-point blowouts, blown leads that are like we're seeing. The fact that the Magic were like the number one team in the East, but that's just normal though. That's normal.
Pray for Markelle, folks. He was in his bag.
So do y'all think there's something like underlying that's causing this weird fluctuation?
Absolutely. They tired. Before the season started, y'all remember when all the NBA players was like, maybe we should start in January, and the league was like, no, we have to start now to get the money up, and this, that, and the third. And then all the players was like, we just did the bubble for y'all. Y'all can give us 3 more months off. And they was like, no, we got to start now. And now we seeing, like I'm gonna say this in my personal opinion. it looked like the young teams with the young players are up and running. They ready to go.
Yep.
They got all this energy in, especially a team that wasn't really in the bubble like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they hitting the ground running. Whereas other teams, even though like the Lakers and the Clippers and the Mavericks, and you know, even though they doing good, they not up to full speed. It's gonna take those teams a little while to. I mean, Phoenix looking great though, even though y'all was in the bubble too.
Okay, so this
season like 9 months ago.
I was about to say the thing I will say that I agree with Core, but in combination with that, I think that the players are fatigued in combination with. Dang, I completely forgot where I was going with that. Dang, I hate when that happens.
I just hate when it happens. I'll take over for a second.
Go ahead.
You mentioned that like the younger teams got off to a run. They did. A lot of them started winning early on. I think a Cavs fan I was talking to, asking him about why he believed that the Cavs got such a blazing start. He said we had training camp in like September when every other team was in the playoffs. Like we were in our own like mini camps, working on things and building chemistry with our current team. And then he said we came in, we might have added a rookie that we drafted. Other than that, the team was pretty much the same team. And I believe he said he believed that momentum helped them going into the season compared to like teams like the Clippers who added like 2 new players, lost a player in Trez, and now are like trying to learn a brand new system with Ty Lue within the span of just a month. They try to do all that in a month. While teams like the Pistons, which I don't think has been all that good, the Pistons, the Hawks, and Cavs, the Magic were all had a mini camp training. So even then, like teams like the Suns weren't having mini camp. But even though the Suns took a good start, when like the teams like the Suns who didn't make the playoffs but were in the bubble, they didn't have minicamp. But teams like the Cavs and Magic had minicamp, and they gave them. It was kind of helped them have an early training camp to help prepare them going into the season. And I think that not having a preseason is what's causing all these weird scores because teams are far away from what they're supposed to be at this point. Like the teams we're seeing now, like I don't feel like we can accurately judge or these teams or these players probably not until like the halfway mark of the season. Because right now teams are still going through the preseason motions, especially with the Lakers.
And that's something I'll add on to it. So another thing that's going to be really weird about this season is that not only are you going to have a combination of the players being tired, them not having a preseason, and them working themselves into shape, but also this season, even though it's only about 10 games, this season is shorter than regular seasons would be. So that makes the regular season just a little bit more important. So, that last 30, like after All-Star break, teams will have to, get their way into the playoffs to like make these long runs where they have. You don't have as much of that anymore. So, like, I mean, granted, it's like I said, it's only 10 games, but I mean, 10 games is a big difference when we're talking about 1 and 2 teams in the playoff, like 1 and 2 games in the playoff race. So, I mean, this season is going to be super interesting because I think we're going to see some teams that possibly may make the playoffs that probably shouldn't or probably aren't as good talent-wise but had really good starts. So, like the Cavaliers, they're looking really good right now. But, I mean, how long does this last? How long is everybody else healthy? Also, the East is really weak in general. So, I mean, Cavs might make the playoffs after being the 15th seed in the East last year and only adding Isaac Okoro. So, I mean, it's really winners. And Kevin Love isn't even playing. So, like, this is really interesting. This season will be really weird and really interesting.
Not to mention that 7 through 10 now are in the play-in tournament. So like you're talking about how teams can have a chance and how important those 10 games are missing. Like if it was an 82 game season, you had game 72, you still got 10 games to separate yourself from like the 8th to 7th seed. Now you're like, if you're the 6th seed, you can't just, most time you're like the 6th seed in an 82 game season, you're at game 72, you can start resting players.
Start cruising,
start cruising, unless you want like a specific matchup from the top 3 seeds. But a lot of times you don't care. You just try to get in the playoffs. So like, but now you're like, oh wow, the 7th seed is like a game behind me. If I don't play hard these last 10 games,
I might not make the playoffs.
I might be in a situation where I have to fight for my playoff spot. So that's going to put the pressure. That's going to put the pressure on them. Yeah. But one thing we have not addressed is the elephant in the room, and that is COVID. We've had Jason Tatum today. He's going to be quarantined for the next 10 to 14 days. Kevin Durant has been put on quarantine for the next 10 to 14 days. The entire Sixers roster was potentially going to. What time is it? It's 1:45. I don't even know if they're going to play that game. They had 9 people active, and then Ben and Simmons reportedly are going to be out for injury, even though they didn't put nothing on the injury report. I think they just didn't want to play with 9 players. I can't blame them, but that's still
Yeah.
whack.
What and another thing that's really weird is that Jonas Valanciunas got snatched from the game at halftime,
Mid-game,
like halftime last night, and they claim he didn't test positive for COVID, but like it's really weird. Like how do you snatch somebody at halftime? Like they get tested before the game, so how does that work? It's like you say, really weird, Jordan.
It's just like Steph Curry tested positive before the game. They knew he was positive. He left the game, and the Sixers still played that game.
Yeah.
So if you got a guy who was sitting on the bench positive next to other players, why did you not like call the game right there? So DeLon, I'm gonna ask you this: do we get to the end of the season?
Yes. I do think that there may be a pocket of games within the bubble. They may start low. I think they're going to do like what the NFL does, when they just kind of move a game back a day or two. But I think they're just going to save a pocket right before the playoffs and the bubble like actually starts to get those games out of the way. I don't foresee too many other circumstances where you got to quarantine an entire team. Because if there's one thing that the NBA will do more than other leagues, they are pretty reactionary pretty quickly. So yeah, I think we'll make it to the end of the season. I think Knicks are going to really lose some games that they should have won because stupid shit like that. But yeah.
Well, and the craziest thing is I can't say the NBA isn't going to make it through this season because the NFL made it through their season, and I can't imagine them not making it, and the NFL did.
The NBA or the NFL does have the luxury of like all games are a Sunday. So we have the rest of the week to fix what fucked up on Sunday. NBA, they're just going to have to find a place to put the rest of those games if they have to completely reschedule some games. That's going to be the only difficult part. But it's nothing to say, hey, push all the bubble games back 2 days so we can get in like a bunch of games, like some AAU style type shit they might do.
That's why the NBA hasn't released the second half of the schedule yet, so that they could, if the games
be flexible with it.
Yeah, they could be flexible and fix and order the games appropriately in that way. But if players keep getting caught, I'm gonna ask you this, Cole. I want your opinion on this. Will this season have more of an asterisk than last season?
Absolutely, because I'm gonna say this with the bubble. You really like, even though we were all kind of worried, a little nervous about it, it worked out perfectly. Nobody really got sick, other than the Daniel House situation. It really wanted much controversy to come with it, but with this, I think we're gonna see a lot of pivotal games where star players is gonna be out because of COVID. I think we're gonna see some playoff games where stars are gonna be out because of COVID. We've already seen a lot of teams that we didn't expect to win come out swinging, and and a lot of teams that we thought were gonna be good looking a little under the bus. So I feel like just off the rip, this season looking a little wonky. I can't even deny it. But hey, if you win, you win. You got to give people their credit.
Right, and that's another thing I was about to say. The asterisk thing is always weird to me because everyone is dealing with the same thing. It's not like COVID. It's not like COVID is just in Philadelphia. COVID is just in California. COVID is just in Louisiana, where New Orleans is playing. But like it's everywhere. So I mean, granted, it's not something that you can control, but it's not like your team isn't dealing with some of the same issues that another team potentially could deal with.
But see, like for instance, like right now, Kevin Durant's missing 14 days because of COVID. Let's say that like LeBron James and the Lakers. Let's say that AD and LeBron somehow escaped the entire season, whatever happened to go through protocol. Is that not an unfair advantage that's been created for them? Even though I think, like, to go on record, because I know how Laker fans get, I think the Lakers will repeat. To be clear, but I just want to point out how it could be unfair for certain teams if like their seeding gets messed up because they have their best players miss like 10 to 15 games, while other teams may somehow escape undergoing protocol and they had their full team the entire time. Like that's the issue, because like not everybody's players are going to get sick. Well, at this rate, it does seem like everybody's players going to get sick. So in that case, then Well, and honestly, I'm at a point where I do feel like I'm a firm believer that I remember like when the first wave of COVID was going around and there were 4 undisclosed Lakers with COVID. I'm a firm believer that either LeBron or AD or both were one of those players.
We never got the names.
We never did. I know one of them was Dwight, but I don't think we ever got the other names. I'm pretty sure. I'm like the fact that they never told us. I feel like it was one of them.
Yeah, I'm almost certain of it. Just to be unfair to them. And with that being said, the Clippers are very secretive too. Like I wonder if Kawhi and PG have had it already. You just don't know.
Because you know what? Because like when we lost in the playoffs, I remember like right before the season started, somebody came out and was like, "Yeah, man, like not half the team, but they said like 3-4 players had it."
But only one person had been reported having it, and that was Landry Shamet. They never said who the other three were. Even then, that's not like it doesn't help you because
it's not a guarantee.
Kevin Durant had it, and he's still on a quarantine for 14 days. So.
Yeah. But he doesn't have it now. He's just like it's so crazy. It is like you say, it is really crazy. And I don't know.
They're being careful. They're being careful because they don't know if you can reinfect people, and they don't know if you can become sick again a second time. They're not certain, so they're just playing it safe to make sure it doesn't happen. But moving on to the next topic, I want to talk to you guys about your expectations for the year of 2021 in terms of music. In my opinion, 2020 was a dud in terms of music. There was some good music in 2020. That's a given. But I feel like the top echelon of music, I feel like it didn't stack up with previous years. So what do you guys are looking forward to in the year 2021 when it comes to music?
Drizzy motherfucking Drake, stop playing with me, my boy. Couple weeks we coming out. Cam, I don't know how I feel about that. Drake coming out. We ready for it. We need the big release. We need somebody to shake something up and rap. The big releases last year, they didn't grab me. You know what I'm saying? They didn't move me. Don't know. I don't know. We're getting a Kendrick album. I don't think we're getting a Kendrick album. We're not getting a Zay album. Everybody.
Speaking of big releases, I want a J. Cole album, but you know
who. That's coming. I said Zay. Isaiah.
Rashad?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you forgot he made music, huh?
Wait, he dropped since
2016. I'm pretty sure.
Jesus.
What I think we may get this year, it is about that time. And this man doesn't like the public anyway. Frank Ocean. I think we might get some quarantine Frank Ocean music.
I'm gonna tell you what, them singles flopped hard. That nigga went back to the lab. We ain't seen from him since. Remember he released like 3 to 4 singles.
And I liked all of them. So I was kind of sad. I probably didn't want to hear an album of that direction, but I liked them as singles. I really did.
It's because I was like, oh wow, Frank Ocean back. And he's like, yeah, I'm back. And then I don't think the general masses like responded to it in the way he wanted to, and that's why he went back in the lab. And I think that's actually disappointing because Frank Ocean was ready to give us something new, and nobody was ready to. And
Frank Ocean started making A$AP Rocky music. A$AP Rocky started making Frank Ocean music, and they both went wrong.
It's tough.
In my room. I was expecting.
Love that song.
I was expecting Drake to take over the entire month of January. What's he waiting on? Like, has anybody heard word? Like, he's supposed.
Well, he originally said it was gonna be late January, like January 24th or something like that. And then OBJ like one night was like, "Oh, it's gonna come out on New Year's." I'm like, that nigga just still has a torn ACL. That nigga post up on New Year's. Like, I don't think he really moving out here for an album yet for another couple of weeks.
I saw some people saying he was in like the Bahamas with Lil Baby and Meek filming the video. I saw that on Twitter the other day.
Yeah, he posted a picture. I remember.
But is that gonna be on Drake album? Like, I ain't know.
James Harden with him.
It is. Lil Baby is also dropping an album soon.
What's the James Harden?
No, y'all laughing, but James Harden's gonna appear in a Lil Baby music video when maybe the next 2 or 3.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll watch it.
It's called Certified Lover Boy, Jordan, so I'm just going to assume it's going to be a February takeover instead.
Okay.
With Valentine's Day and such.
Classic on the way?
It's just, I'm used to Drake leading with at least a single going into the album. Only time it didn't happen was If You Read This Is Too Late. So I was expecting him to like drop a single like the beginning of the month and then that song just like, rain, and then the album hits, and then then he just takes over for like the next couple of months because that's usually what Drake does after he releases the album.
Looks like we got a single from Drake coming this week. Then
let's go. It's time. Expert analysis. You heard it here first.
Exclusive.
My expectation for 2021 is the big names will be big names this year. Drake, we didn't get a chance to get a Drake album. He wanted to give it to us last year. He's had even more time to work on it. I think this album is going to be really good. Cole has 2 albums he wanted to give us. He gave us 2 singles, a sample of what he has 2 albums. He has a mixtape and an album. I can't remember what it's the off season and then the fall off. I can't remember which one's the mixtape, which one's the album. But which, if they're both on streaming services, they're both albums, in my opinion.
Okay.
We've been over this. He released 2 singles last year. Both of them were pretty good. What's up?
Was the off season a mixtape, or was it like? Because he wrote down on the paper like, say it like features, Revenge of the Dreamers, off season, the fall off. Did he just mean he's going to take the year off for the off season? He didn't release. He wasn't like doing music in 2020 heavy.
That's a good point. I don't remember
because J. Cole likes his Friday Night Lights basketball references.
Yeah.
He mentioned the off season a while back, and when he mentioned it as if it was a project. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a project.
Weren't the shoes called the off season too, or am I tripping?
I don't know what them shoes were called.
I was very disappointed.
Hey,
in the shoes, or the fact that it was,
in the fact that it was shoes.
Okay.
Okay, no, but when we because I remember like one day everybody was like, oh, J. Cole dropping something, and I remember hopping the chat. I was like, y'all, did he just sound like a Puma deal? Maybe shoes.
Jordan said that on the podcast. I think.
Yeah, somebody told me in the comments, and I was very disappointed, and I was like, oh.
Because I was like, I was like, bro, like 50 people to sign the Puma, ain't nobody dropped a shoe yet. What's going on?
You damn right. You waiting on Kyle Kuzma's score. I know you are.
Core gonna camp out. He gonna beat the bots for that one, boy.
Yes,
not
sir.
the Kuzmas.
With the StockX tag on them.
Actually, speaking of Kuzma, I just want to throw this out here for all the powerfuls. I told y'all before the season started that boy Jeremy Grant and Julius Randle was gonna ball out. Look at him.
Julius Randle is balling out.
Did you say Julius Randle? Are you trying to?
I
think he's trying to claim that. And in 2021, we're calling out Cord and stop. That's what we do. That may mess up the podcast, but that's what we do. Y'all.
Now I'm gonna say this: I was run by PJ Washington. I don't know what's going on. On PJ Washington. I thought he was gonna throw over LaMelo, but yeah, one day, someday.
It's been some good moments, but
Let's see. Oh yeah, I do think we get a Kendrick album this year. It's been 5 years since Damn. Now, no, wait. Damn came out in 2017. It's been 4 years since.
Is TDE gonna let him drop in a pandemic?
But see, that's a good question. But he got to he don't have to. But he don't have to. According to top and a lot of TDA stands. But it's been 4 years, man. I'm pretty sure. And there was a lot of signs pointing to him releasing last spring because he was on a lot of festival lineups. And he performed his last Damn performance it was early January or February. So it's if he said he's done performing Damn and he's listed for festivals in the summer, that must mean the album was coming. But then he got those festivals got canceled because the COVID hit hard in March. So it points to that there is an album done or an album that he's near done with. And there's been a lot of other ancillary moves that he made during the year that point to him prepping for an album or having some music done. Music being leaked and things of that nature.
Baby King, the best young rapper in the game?
No. Some other things,
sleeping on Baby King.
Him not appearing on features because usually he goes ghost on features too when he's in album mode. So I think we get Drake. I think we get Cole. I think we get Kendrick. I predicted that last year and COVID fooled me. I think we get an album from the big three.
COVID ain't gone.
It ain't gone, but it's on the horizon because of vaccinations. Plus, people just don't care anymore. You saw people at the Capitol. Did they look like they were scared of COVID?
I almost say this.
Those are the same people. Those are the same people who have not at any point been scared of
Hey, they was only wearing masks to hide their identity, not to hide from the virus. I'm just throwing it out there.
Crazy thing is, more of them should have wore masks. Apparently, they picking them off one by one. They picking them off one by one.
I really hate that you're getting your hopes up to get let down by Kendrick again.
Yeah, because I'm curious with you, Wop. This is me personally. TDE being TDE, I feel like you go be hyped all year for a Kendrick album, and you go get I already know they finna throw J-Rock out there. They finna throw Ab-Soul out there. If they really got a star, they're gonna throw Lance Skywalker out there. And if it really get crazy, Reason dropping the mixtape just for you, Wop.
I'm gonna tell you what, I'd be cool if it's a Isaiah Rashad album. Like I said, it's been 5 years since the Sun's Tirade.
I'm gonna play that bitch once a week still.
Exactly.
What he been going through 5 years? Jesus.
But then a lot of things they said, TD was starting to hint that it's not our fault. Like he ain't turned the music in. I don't know what you want us to do. Like he ain't doing his part. So hopefully he's been in the lab and got that all put together.
Did y'all go to that Isaiah Rashad concert in Oxford at that time?
Me and Jacquez did. We both went.
I was about to say, I was looking at Jacquez's page and I saw a picture from that concert.
It was a lot of fun. That was when was that?
It was 2016. It was 2016.
Yeah, that was a little bit after the Suns tirade came out. What's it before? I think it was before the Suns tirade, but he was giving out merch for the Suns tirade. I think.
Oh, wait, Cam, I gotta throw this at you. When the Suns make the playoff, we gotta name the episode the Suns tirade.
Yes, sir.
I think we already have an episode with that name, actually.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. Ah, damn.
We'll call it part 2.
Yeah,
I
think I named it that when the Suns was in the bubble and they were like beating the hell out of everybody. I can't remember what it was. It
was either that point in time or early last season when we had one of the best records in the NBA.
Yeah, it was one of those cases. But Cam, Cord, do y'all have anything y'all looking forward to music wise?
Man, Thug. Really, just I'm ready to hear Thug. I'm actually ready to see what the Drake album gonna sound like, because we've only heard one song, ain't really heard nothing else. Everybody's super excited about it. Let me see. Everybody else who I like dropped last year. You know, I got Grimes, I got FK Twigs, I got Rena, got J-Lit, got Cardi. I can't ask for nothing else.
Cord's excited to not be excited for the Drake album.
Hey man, 2020 was great for me.
We still haven't talked about Cardi, have we?
No, we
John
haven't.
still hasn't been on. Damn it.
We'll save it. We'll save it.
Here's a prediction. This is a very bold prediction.
Oh wait, Cardi Deluxe edition coming. Yeah, forgot about that.
I think we may get a DaBaby album.
As long as I don't have to be a part of this review, because y'all did me done last time.
Bold of you.
I had to listen.
Delon, bold of you to assume we'd only get one.
You know we get my vote.
Baby,
talking.
Man.
Hey, we reviewing DaBaby Core. I gotta listen to it. You gotta listen to it.
I got it.
That's the last DaBaby album we ever listened to.
I'm gonna tell you what, Meg is we'll talk about them being rising stars of rap. Meg and DaBaby are the two people I at least want to hear music from right now. To be perfectly honest with you.
Man, and to me, it just feel like, you know how it is when artists come out and they do like a slow grind, and then you slowly see them like build up into superstars. It's like they just got launched out of there, and like every week it was just a new rollout and a song and this, that, and the third, and then they just burned everybody out. Yeah,
it was something about them every single week, and their music isn't good enough to justify them being in my face 24/7. So I
have one.
What's up?
If this album drops, I'll actually listen, because I've never actually listened to a project before. But I'm so proud of this artist, 2020. Me and Jordan talked about it last night. If Saweetie drops an album, I will actually listen to it front to back. Wow. Because her management team and her might have been the most slept on of 2020. They was working hard.
I'm gonna say this. I love everything Saweetie do. I just don't want to listen to music. But when I see the videos, I love the videos. I see what she do on Twitter. It's funny. It's perfect. It's right up her alley. They be doing a job. I give them it.
I'm record on that one. Everything but her music. Everything.
Sprite deal.
When I heard it look Back to the Streets, I was like, you know what? This ain't for me.
I've never listened.
I don't even think her music is awful. That's the funny thing about it.
The thing is, it's not awful. It's just
annoying.
No. So this is a comparison I made to somebody else. I said she is too good at everything else for her music not to be that good. Okay. Her music, and that's what I'm saying. Like she's so like she has beauty. She got talent. She got like all the other things are great.
She know how to market herself.
And the music is just it's not me. I won't say mediocre, but it's like bad. It's like right below mediocre. And it's like, man, just stop the music.
And do what, Cam?
She got enough of a fan base and enough of a following. She doesn't have to make music anymore.
And do what, Cam? What do you want her to do, Cam?
What you trying to say, Cam?
What's the pivot, Cam?
You trying to make me out to be the bad guy, DeLon, and I'm trying
to make you to be Cord.
Okay. All I'm saying is this: you know how it is with like certain social media personalities turn into music. So we is like an artist that turned into a social media personality, and it worked out perfect for it. I think people be admitted.
Who did that? Well, there's a few of those.
I want to tell you what, I love her. Some of the videos she be doing on TikTok, they be hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm
Bro,
telling
like the
you,
video she
like-
did with Doja Cat is super funny. It's super funny.
The one she like reenacting like that at Muggin. I can't remember. I don't know the original video. What's it called?
Yeah.
That shit hilarious. Oh man, that's
Yeah.
that's talent. That's
Yes.
talent.
It is.
But all right,
Shout out Big Doja.
let's talk about the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks got up to a blazing start. They were like the number one. They were like the number one seed in the East. Following that, they have now dropped like 4 games. I think they now have a losing record. Maybe they're tied at 500 right now. I can't really remember. But they've lost a lot. They've lost like 3 or 4 last games after looking so good and so promising. They had like a top 5 half court offense. So, of course, what happens when you start losing a lot of games when you have high expectations? Locker room dysfunction and leaks. And it's so funny because we're 10 games in and somebody's already leaking film session conversations. So a article from The Athletic turns out that John Collins stepped up in the film session and voiced concerns with the offense, saying that he feels that Trae Young holds the ball too much, that he doesn't get everybody else involved enough, and that he thinks the offense has become too predictable. That the offense should be a lot more team friendly, more so than Trae friendly. With this being said, Trae disagreed. There were reports saying that a few players sided with Collins, a few players sided with Trae. There was also reports saying that there's some players who are growing discontent with Lloyd Pierce, feeling that Lloyd Pierce has been living in bench players too long, or just making calls that have been a detriment to the team. And then a lot of times they come out after the game and like, why'd you do that? So, guys, we'll start with John Collins. Is John Collins right? Should Trae try to get people more involved? Also, it seems like Trae's been bothered by this. He had like a 7-point game, I think, like this last game, which was like, I think it was like the day after the confrontation between him. Well, they said it wasn't a confrontation. They said basically it was John Collins voicing how he felt, and then Trae not saying anything back. But later on, he made sure everybody knew that he disagreed with what John Collins said. So it wasn't a back and forth or a heated argument. It was just John Collins voicing his concerns and Trae disagreeing. But he scored 7 points in like the following game. He hasn't been really himself the past couple of games. He seems to be very, very passive. Almost seem like he's trying to prove a point to everybody, and not try to be the opposite of what they say he has been. Do you guys feel like John Collins is right?
So I'll start with this. I remember Jaquez comes on the show. He says often that Trae Young is the only player he's ever seen that's never changed his game on all 3 levels, but just has gotten better. I think that Trae Young is stuck in this cycle of being by a long shot, being the most talented person on his team. And I think that now this Hawks team actually has a lot of talent around him. And now he's not used to having guys around him that he can trust, that can make plays, they can do things for themselves. And so I think now that he's getting to this point where, all right, I got to do this myself. And it's never really like for the longest time, it didn't really translate to winning that much. But like now the team actually wants to win. And it's just not working out. And I just think it's a conflict of interest because it's something that he's never had to do before.
Yeah, like you said, it's just he's so used to being the best player and having to do everything. Now that he has so much help, I think he has a different ideology. It's like, okay, I got Gallinari over here. Which Gallinari's been hurt. That's another thing that needs to be put into context. Gallinari's been hurt. Rondo's been hurt. Chris Dunn has been out. They've been missing a lot of the depth pieces they went and got are not actually playing right now. So that does need to be said. I think it's one thing that's been ignored about all this and why their recent struggles have gone. Is the depth that they acquired is now gone. But even with that being said, I do think that if that's how John Collins feels and how other teammates may feel too, he definitely needs to get more people involved because he has that help now. If you got Gallinari out there, if you got Bogdanovic, if you got John Collins and Capella, you got to let them eat. But basically, I think I saw someone on Twitter says that Trae needs to be less Curry and more Nash. Where he focuses more on getting his guys looks and being a threat and using him being a scoring threat as a way to leverage and get other people open shots, and then going on runs when he needs to, like, and less of I need to go out here and score 30 because I can.
And I look at it this way: if he wanted to play like that, what was the point of forcing the team to sign all these players in the offseason? He said he wanted to be in the playoffs. He said he wanted to win. He said he wanted to do this, that, and the third. When you want to be a winning player, you got to make sacrifices to your game to get everybody else involved. And also, they done gave all these players this money, so they need to get their touches. You paying Gallinari, you paying Bogdanovich, Chris Dunn, Rondo, all these guys. John Collins trying to get his max, supermax, whatever he want to get. It's too many pieces on his team for him to be. I ain't gonna say ISO ball, but there's too many pieces on the team for him to be playing. I don't want to say selfishly, but
he just holds the ball.
If you ask for help, you better act like you got help. And I feel like that's what John Collins is saying.
It's kind of like it's kind of like the criticism that Chris Paul was having, where they said that he like dribbled the shot clock out for like 18 seconds, and then he make a decision. He
just clutched it to somebody last second.
Yes, he needs to start making decisions a lot quicker. What you about to say, Devon?
So I will say, Corey, out of like the pieces that they got in the offseason, besides like Bogdanovich, who, this doesn't really apply to. A lot of those pieces seem to be there to get his long ass rebounds. Because
when you put it that way,
I was checking the stats. There are a lot of they drafted, what was he, a power forward or center?
Yeah.
They went from 18th in rebounds to they're currently 3rd in rebounds per game.
Capella.
And they be throwing up. Trey throws up those shots so quick. Like it looks like 7-second offense, but nobody else knows and no one else is down court yet. And they just trip into it. Trey Young plays like he doesn't understand the plight of a big man in basketball, and the positioning of the rebounds and all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of like an unfortunate thing there. But yeah, I just feel like those pieces are kind of complementary towards Trey, not as much complementary towards
winning
the game plan.
I know it's another thing they mentioned in the Athletic article. It's like a lot of players have been like bothered by the fact that like they'll get a stop, and they'll come to court, and Trey will just shoot it before anybody else touches the ball, and then they're back on defense. And like that's a double-edged sword. Like Curry can get away with it because Curry he's a champion. He also damn near doesn't ever miss those shots when he
I was about to say he's much more efficient.
Hey, I was in a party. I think it was Jaquez. I think we were in the PlayStation party, and we were just watching the Hawks game. And then there was tip off. Trae Young got it. Walked half court, threw the shot up immediately. He like not even like kind of logo like LeBron, like at the edge of the logo, like that nigga cross half court and throw the shot to start the game. I was like, Jaquez, did you see that? He's like, yeah, I respect it. I was like, I said, if I was anybody else on that team. I said, Jaquez, if a nigga did that in 2K,
oh my God, he have a heart attack. He have aneurysm.
This is like game 2, so they've been dealing with it too.
I get the fact that he can make those shots, but at the end of the day, that's a god awful shot that you don't have to take.
You don't have to.
You don't have to take. Like Trae Young could literally took 10 more steps and probably been just as open and took that.
If you're gonna do that shit, just tell John Collins or Capella so y'all don't get the tip off. So like
we play defense first.
You gotta get a stop, you can do it, or you're just wasting the second, third, or the next 2 quarters so y'all don't get the ball first. Like if you're gonna just literally waste the first possession, that's like getting the coin toss in football, just immediately throwing an interception or immediately punting. And then what was the point?
It defeats the purpose, and that's it's a double-edged sword being capable of doing that, because when you miss those shots, if your team,
everybody looking at you crazy.
Yeah, everybody's gonna look at you crazy. Like, man, what you doing? Like, you don't. And he has a couple games. He shot like 1 for 6, 1 for 7 from 3. So imagine him doing 4 of those shots in the same game and not making any of them. That's gonna have your team mad.
And it's so crazy because not only is this it's a double-edged sword, because like you said, he doesn't like his teammates don't really like, his teammates don't like it. But then on top of that, he doesn't play defense himself.
Yes.
It's like a triple-edged sword, almost like a triangle. But like,
so when you hate on 2K, oh my God.
So think about it. When he missed, that means everybody is running full. Like, so when he missed, they trying to get the board, and when they don't get the board, they gotta sprint down the court on defense, and whoever playing next to him thinking, I gotta hold 2 perimeter players on fast break
because of him. And even that, if they stop the fast break, they still cover for him on defense, so they got to cover for him on defense. because he threw up an errant shot that didn't even get them involved on offense. So he just, like I said, he needs to be a little bit more meticulous, needs to be a little bit more selective. He shouldn't be firing them shots up on the first possession of the game. Should be getting them more so on the flow of the offense, letting everybody get their touches, and then here and there when he's hot, when he's actually hot. Like that's one thing about Curry do. Curry don't do that shit in the beginning. He does that when he's hot. Like he don't hit.
He gotta feel it.
He'll hit like 3 or 4 threes already, and then he's like, "Yeah, I got it." And then he takes one. He don't just take one just because he can make it. He takes one because he's on a roll and he know he can make the next shot.
I'm gonna go and say this early, Jaquez. I know you go hear this, but it need to be said. They gonna tune him up in the playoffs. They gonna tear him apart in the playoffs. I like Trae Young. Trae Young is a good player, but I think he finna be one of them. He amazing in the regular season, but when it's time to go against like an actual defense that is scouting you, he gonna be fooled. I ain't gonna know.
Well, and it's so crazy because he is not only not as good of a shooter as Curry, but he's also smaller than Curry and plays less defense than Curry too. So, like, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna put that stigma on him yet. I'm gonna let him earn that. I'm gonna let them mess him up in the playoffs then. But I definitely could see that. I could definitely see that.
Of course, Kansas said, "You gonna wait to see that body before we could."
Hey man, we just spent all these years calling him Curry. What if he just Isaiah Thomas with deeper range?
Okay, let's go.
Nah,
that nigga was like 2013, 2014.
I'm just saying.
Did Jaquez really say that? I respect it. That sounds like it.
Yes. I said, Jaquez, you see that? He said, just like Jaquez, he said, I respect it.
Yeah, let Clay take that shot up in the game. Let Clay take a shot like that.
Yeah.
That boy Jaquez gonna break a clipboard.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. We lost a hip hop legend the eve of 2021. MF Doom was declared dead by his family. At least, well, he was declared dead actually months before that. It turns out he passed back in October, but his family didn't disclose it until December 31st. So we had actually lost a legend earlier on in the year, weren't told till later. I actually really liked that the family was able to grieve on their own time. They had to deal with a bunch of annoying ass posts from people on the internet talking about how much they miss MF Doom. Kind of like how I feel like people going overboard with some of the stuff they were posting about Kobe. It's like, y'all think about this. Like the family's probably on the internet. They're seeing this kind of stuff. Let them be able to grieve on their own time without y'all making these weirdo posts about your admiration for Kobe.
It'll be weird.
Yeah, some of it would be very strange and just out of nowhere. And so, but I'm not here to talk about how we expressed MF Doom's, how we received MF Doom news, but more so to highlight the fact that he is one of the greatest underground rappers ever. That he has been a part. I feel like it's so weird that they said he died at the age of 49, but I feel like he's so much older than that. Because I feel like as long as I've been a fan of rap, I feel like he's always been there.
He's been there, yeah.
And like I was seeing like him posting, I see him like in pictures with like Odd Future posted up with Tyler Creator and Earl Sweatshirt, and then like I scrolled a little bit further and I saw a picture with him and Tupac standing next to each other. So I was thinking to myself like, wow, like MF Doom existed back then. It's so weird. Like it's like he's been like this ever existing existence in hip hop. It's just always been there in the shadows. But his call to fame though was his rhyming ability. The fact that he could put so many syllables and rhymes in a single line over and over and over and over and over again. You know, Doritos, Fritos, Chili Cheetos. You know those type of rhymes. He does that flawlessly. Of course, some of them don't make sense, but even then, like that Fritos line, people like make fun of, actually makes a lot of sense. Has rhyming become a lost art? Because that type of rhyming, like focusing on strictly being clever with rhyming, it doesn't seem like to be too much of an emphasis. Because, you know, we already talk about lyrics aren't too much of an emphasis these days anyway. It's more so about melodies than what you say. So is rhyming becoming a lost art? And also, was this skill always overrated? Because, you know, another hip hop legend that utilizes this is Eminem. And a lot of people champion Eminem as being one of the best rappers ever because of his ability to rhyme in the manner that he does. So yeah, what do you guys think? Collective silence.
Dun, dun, dun.
but a smirk from DeLon. So don't like tell me what's on your mind. I know you're thinking something.
Yeah, because I already know that. Yeah, the love ain't gonna love.
I'm gonna just say it's discouraged. It's that talent is discouraged currently. Just all the people who, if MF Doom came out in 2021, all the people who kind of fall underneath that tree, we actively make fun of. Maybe for different reasons, maybe for some sprinkle of different reasons. But I just feel like he was perfect. His prime was perfect for when it was, as opposed to now.
It's definitely a lost art. I feel like only a couple. I feel like every rapper does it a little bit, like some alliteration here, alliteration there, to be very, very clever. I love it when Kendrick does it, but the thing is, I feel like artists know now not to oversaturate their music with it.
Yeah.
Where MF Doom was a mastermind who was capable of making 10 lines rhyme together. Other rappers realized that I don't have to go that far to show how cool it is to rhyme things, and they'll just do like 1 or 2 lines. So incredible ability by MF Doom to do it, but I think that in terms of making very good music and music that like the masses will enjoy, that it'll hurt you if you do it to that level. But it's still a great thing, a great tool to have in your toolkit if you're a rapper, though.
And that sucks because I really like, y'all know me, I like when I like to I can compartmentalize my music. So if someone's doing like a specific thing, like if MF Doom's doing a whole bunch of that, I like that, I will go to that for that.
Yes.
But nowadays rappers just don't even put it in their bag because it's not the most marketable, it's not the thing that's the most successful. So if I'm in the mood for something, I would love to hear those things, but it's like a lot of things like that, we are unfortunately having to go back for that.
I'm a proud believer of, it's only so much you can do. It's only so many words on earth is, being made a certain amount of time. And if you look at a lot of rappers, especially now, with the way that fans are, it hurts you to be really, really good at one thing and terrible at other things. And that's why now most artists that we hear, they try to do a little bit of everything, because if you got like just one, I don't want to say one dimensional, but if you just specialize in one area of rap, you're more likely to get ridiculed. Like if you just a punchline rapper or you just a melody type rapper, everybody go,
one trick ponies call a spade a spade. That's what artists try to avoid being now. Everybody tries to be the jack of all trades. But I think that rhyming, I'll ask y'all, is it like overrated? I think it's only overrated in the sense of like Eminem, because he's proclaimed to be the best rapper because of his ability to rhyme. When a lot of times he makes silly or nonsensical lines just for the sake of rhyming. So he'll
it's like at that point, when you look at it that way, it's like, what's the point of even doing this?
Yeah, he sacrifices making sense just so he can rhyme. And I think that I feel like being nonsensical outweighs rhyming 3 or 4 words together. So yeah, I think it's overrated in the sense when it's current Eminem, because past Eminem didn't do it to that extent. The current Eminem would just go out of his way to make the Tyrannosaurus and Brontosaurus rhyme together for no.
He's gonna force that orange door hinge, boy. I tell you what.
Oh wait. Can I ask y'all something? How y'all feel about the Snoop and Eminem thing?
Eminem was completely justified to me. I'm gonna say that.
Okay.
I didn't actually dig into it because I did not care. I'll be honest with you.
I called it like a 20-second Snapchat video.
Delon, you want to enlighten us?
So basically, Snoop was doing an interview. I don't know what it was, but they asked him to rank his top 5. And he ranked his top 5, and Eminem wasn't in it. They said, you gotta, and then Snoop was like, yeah, I don't listen to that shit. I can't listen to a lot of that shit, blah, blah, blah. It was like mad, like it wasn't like, no, he's not in my top 5. I just have some other people above me. He was like, no, I don't listen to that shit. I can't listen to that shit. And Eminem dropped an album recently, and he addressed Snoop on it.
Again?
I'm with him. No, that was the first and only time Eminem spoke about it. But I'm with him. I'll be honest with you, because it was tone. It was all about tone. That nigga was wilding. I ain't gonna lie.
Because I was thinking like the old heads in my job was having like a civil war battle, and I was like, I mean, I get what Snoop's saying, but then when they played the clip, I was like, okay, he put a little spice on it. I put it that way.
Are you guys saying that the black man should watch his tone when he's speaking about the white man?
Of course.
Oh, you know, I'm not. I mean, look, it's a free country. You can say whatever you want. When I talk about Eminem, I always say, you know, he's a legend. He did that in the third. I just choose not to listen to it because I don't enjoy it, especially not this new stuff. And I'm tired of hearing him complain, but at the same time, whenever somebody bring up Eminem, everybody say something like off the wall. Like I feel like you know how it is, like when you in your prime and people don't like you and they can't say nothing. Then when you get to a certain point of your career where you just not the big dog no more, and then everybody like to pile on. I feel like that's what Eminem going through right now.
I'm gonna tell you what,
and I'm not even the person to defend Eminem. So for me to even be like, I mean, like.
I just think it's funny because Tone got a lot of people in trouble last year. That's why I had to bring that up. But
and also, we all know if you say somebody Rustified 9 is coming through with the superhero cape on, he jumping off the top of the building like Batman, and he breaking arms and legs for Marshall.
Rustified 9 disrespected Benzino last week, boy.
Hey, that was crazy.
That boy said. Benzino said something about Eminem. He said, "Well, Roy said, well, you need to worry about your daughter on Instagram showing ass."
Ray being Benzino's daughter is still wild to me.
Is there anybody? What's that weird looking dude that was in D12 that be sticking up for Eminem too?
Bizarre.
Yeah, Bizarre.
Yeah.
Bizarre. Yeah, the weird looking dude named Bizarre. They all come with torches if you talk too crazy about them. But shout out to Eminem.
But in essence, I completely understood what Snoop was saying though. Like Em is one of them rappers. Like he is one of the best. But for a lot of people that listen to hip hop and love hip hop, he not like every rapper not gonna be a part of what you listen to. This is what it is. I know people who love hip hop that don't listen to Jay-Z. I know people that love hip hop that ain't never like when MF Doom died. People we knew was in the chat was like, "Hey, who is this?" And I was like, "Oh, but it's so much music. It's so many artists. You can't know everybody." And it don't. In music, it's subjective. You can't.
That's different though. That's different. That's different. Eminem and Snoop been on tours together. I know they slept in bunk beds.
Cool, right?
Like the Drake thing. Like they was close. They had the Up and Smoke tours going for years. All that kind of stuff. It was just wild to me hearing him talk about him like that. It was surprising.
I'm gonna tell you
say then, and it's like with Snoop, man, you never know with Snoop. Like we just seen Snoop like hype somebody up and then just completely diss them the next week. Like I just seen him be like, "Hey yo, I love Kanye." Then the next week, man, you and your family, all this, then the third, and the next week he at the Sunday service. It's Snoop we talking about.
I really feel like because of all the Mary Jane he smoked, I feel like Snoop lives moment to moment. I don't feel like he remembers what he did like the day before. Like I feel and that's why he contradicts himself so much. Like I really think he lives moment to moment and doesn't think about consequences or anything of that nature. Like he probably forgot about the altercation between Eminem already. Like he probably ain't thinking about it at all. He ain't gonna hold it against him either. Because I've seen him do crazy things like he was saying like the Clippers, y'all suck, y'all ain't gonna ever be LA. And then like they beat. I remember we came back and beat the Warriors by like. The Warriors had beaten us by 31. We came back and beat them in the playoffs. And then he said, "I'm sorry, Clippers. Y'all are LA. That's some real gangster shit." And then the very next game we lost, and he was like, "I told y'all never be LA." And I'm like, "What?"
Hey, the best thing we get from his personality being like that is the reaction videos after the Lakers play bad. That's so funny.
And
so when he was talking about Danny Green, bro, I was
man,
but it was so funny though. He was legit hurt. Like he was hurt.
Nah, he went too far with Danny Green. But shifting back to basketball on the last topic of the afternoon, let's talk about the New York Knicks, the best team in New York. We didn't think we'd ever get to say that, especially with KD and Kyrie coming to New York and playing for the Nets. The Knicks are currently 5-4, and the Nets are currently 5-5, the 8th seed. Of course, this is rivalry. It's a lot of context we're leaving out by saying that. The Nets have been dealing with KD having to be suspended for 14 games, Kyrie playing when he feels like it. We don't know exactly why he didn't play the other night. Probably, he just didn't tell. He didn't even tell Steve. Steve Nash doesn't even know why he didn't play the other night. So
no. Come on now, Wop. Open your third eye. He knew.
He knew the Corona's in the building.
He knew what time it was, bro. He lit up his sage. He threw it around in a circle. He walked around.
He could have warned somebody.
He did. He told his teammates, he didn't know about the buzz.
Like, hey, y'all niggas can go play. I'm not playing though.
Why you not playing? I got a bad feeling about today. And they ain't gonna quit. They'll be like, all right, man, cool. As soon as the game over, hey man, Steph Curry got the Rona. Kyrie hop in the chat with he put the little eye emoji in the chat.
Told y'all. But like I said, we don't know. This the Nets are still learning each other, still learning the systems, learning how to play together, learning how to play defense. They got guys who not in a lot of they lost Dinwiddie. It's a lot of things. The reason why they're 5-5. It's still early. It's just 10 games into the season, and the things can still reverse with the Knicks. But the Knicks are doing a lot of sustainable stuff. Like they're playing like a cohesive unit, an actual team with effort. Just so often I watched the Knicks last year where it's just dreadful. Like they just know they're bad, and they're not going. There's no fight in them. And they're just going to lose. They just know we're going. Like they get down 10, like they give up. They just go through the motions till the game is over, so they can go home. The Knicks now are fighting. They're scrappy. They came back from a 20. I think it was like down like 18 points to the Hawks, which is what probably led John Collins to go, raging in his film session. Like he came back from down. They came back from down 18 points, led by Austin Rivers. But most importantly, Dibs is like got these guys whipped into shape. They're motivated hard. Julius Randle has been a star. He's currently averaging 23 points. 12 rebounds, 7 assists, looking every bit much like the Blake Griffin-esque player that people projected he would be back when he was with the Lakers.
That's facts.
Guys, let's start with the Knicks, because a lot of people were deeming the Knicks to be the 2021 champions after like a couple of preseason games, and then after like the first couple of games when they were beating the hell out of like the Celtics. Are you guys concerned about the Nets? Or you aren't concerned about the Nets?
I'm concerned about their defense and their health, which is two things that you need to win. And even though it's a team, with a lot of firepower offensively, we saw Joe Harris go crazy against the 76ers yesterday. But we all know when the playoffs come and the game slow down, will they be able to get stops?
Yeah, and they've already suffered losses to the Washington Wizards and the Hornets for the exact reason. It wasn't because they scored like 90 points. It's because the other team scored a bunch of points just like they did because they couldn't stop them. So like when you get in the playoffs, you're playing against another team who's very good offensively, and you can't never stop them. How do you actually beat them?
Well, and the thing is, when we look at that roster, who do we even, other than Jared Allen, like not even DeAndre Jordan, but other than Jared Allen, who do we even look on as a team as a good defender? Like
they say that
maybe
Brown,
Taurean Prince.
Is he there still?
I didn't even know they had him.
Sometimes. You play sometimes.
Hold on, man. I don't think Taurean Prince still there. The team I'm reading people on the team. Karis LeVert, I think he's an average defender. Joe Harris, probably average at best. Jared Allen. Taurean Prince is on the team still. Jeff Green, definitely not a defender. Landon Shamet, definitely not a defender. DeAndre Jordan, definitely not a defender. Kyrie, definitely not a defender. KD, Achilles. Bruce Brown is supposed to be a decent to good defender, but he doesn't actually get much burn. Then there's Tyler Johnson, not a defender. Dinwiddie, out hurt, who was an average to good defender. And then Kuruks, I think that's how you say his name.
Yeah.
But like, think about plays defense.
Luala Cabarro?
Yeah, Cabarro.
But that's the thing though. Like, of the guys that are actually in the rotation, who's getting the stop? Like when they need one.
Nobody.
Like nobody. Like they better like just let everybody go into the paint and let Jared Allen try to stop everybody, because like on the perimeter they gonna get feasted on. They're not gonna be able to stop a parked car. Like,
speaking of getting feasted on, I want to salute Jared Allen for giving Rudy Gert, man. He did really dirty.
Good for him. I'm glad.
What was it? 17 and
I think he had like 14
boards?
Yeah, he had like I think it was like 18 and 17 boards or something like that, and then he had like 3 or 4 blocks to go with it. I was like, good for him. The Utah Jazz will continue to be mediocre.
Rudy's the reason why the Timberwolves are in a tailspin right now. Breaking.
Wait. Actually, speaking of the Timberwolves, speaking of the Knicks.
Wait. Okay, I had a Nets comment. Nets. Also to me, it just feels like a lot of mismanagement over there. I think like Steve Nash might be a little in over his head. It seems like because not only is the defense awful, but just the complete letting. We knew it was going to happen. Just letting Kevin Durant and Kyrie run wild. Kyrie just sitting because he doesn't feel like playing. That's great. I respect it from Kyrie. I don't respect Steve Nash for letting it happen.
Ain't D'Antoni over there too?
Man, and then late game situations is just literally Kyrie get out. Everybody else get out of the way, as it is with every Kyrie team. He had one game winner last week where he I think got 3 back-to-back shots, and he made the last one, so it made the ESPN highlight. But at some point, fellas, we gotta figure something else out. So just a little bit of mismanagement over there. And what happened with Kevin? They just let him catch COVID or something?
Oh, he had COVID. He had COVID before. He had it literally when it first broke out last year, and they was talking about players getting sick. He had it then, but they say he's currently under protocol. I guess because he came in contact with it.
Put Kevin Durant in bubble wrap when he's not on the fucking court. Put him in bubble wrap and send him home. I don't know why. Just some insure when the New Orleans Saints signed Drew Brees to his contract in 2013, they put a specific clause in there to where he couldn't ride his motorcycle anymore. Yep. And he had a motorcycle sponsorship, so he couldn't do that anymore.
Really?
They need to figure something out for Kevin Durant. You're not allowed to ride bike, skateboard, anything, go around people at all. Just go home. They need to figure something out.
Man.
Very strange indeed. But that's all I got for today. You guys have any closing thoughts?
Hey, man.
Slave Master Tibbs in his bag. Salute to him.
I was gonna say that. That wasn't one of my things. So 2 things. One, for everybody who was watching the bubble, talking about Damian Lillard could have been the best point guard in the NBA. Stop it. Stop it, please. I don't want to hear anything else about Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is not trash. He's not trash. But he's not in the same hemisphere as Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry is an all-time great point guard. Damian Lillard will just be one of maybe the top 100, 150 players, maybe of all time. Maybe. That's being generous. So, chill out, please. And also on top of it, man, I really used to like Paul George, and I don't like him anymore because him and Devin Booker got into it. But I just feel like he gets so much hate. I want to hate him because Devin Booker doesn't like him, but at the same time, everybody else hates him, so I don't mind not hating him.
Paul George said that he said that compared to last season, he said just 10 games in. He said compared to last season, he said a lot of players now be talking trash talking him now. And he said he think it's solely because he came out and spoke about his mental health last year, as well as what happened to him, to the Clippers in the Nugget series. So he feels like people feel emboldened to talk crazy to him now because of what happened in the bubble. And I think that's just wild, to be completely honest.
That is like imagine somebody telling you that they deal with depression and being sad and hating when people talk about them. So you talk about them more. People are evil.
And I talked to
Nate Robinson.
And I talked about it too. It's so crazy that I think the Lakers game where they won and Paul George had 33 points and how you guys probably don't know, but you can look up a player's highlights the next morning on Twitter usually because those highlight pages will post them. So all you gotta do is type in the player's name and highlights, and quite literally when I typed in Paul George's name, the only thing that popped up was one turnover he threw at the referee, and that's it. I could not find the highlights on Twitter. I had to go to YouTube to find them.
Yeah. And
then for instance, he has been playing great, and they completely shut down Steph Curry on Wednesday. Not a word. If Curry goes off today, niggas are posting pictures of Andrew Wiggins hitting a shot over Paul George, and I don't even understand why that mattered because the Warriors were up 7 points already with a minute left. So why were people drawing attention to Wiggins hitting a 3 late in the game over Paul George? The game was pretty much out.
I think it's because Wiggins hit a 3. It's like when Ben Simmons makes his first thing of the season. Ben
He did it.
And then he never shoots another one.
I think that's completely called for. And like I said, I've talked about it before. I acknowledge it. Like this team, like the Clippers, they get on my nerve. I don't have them picked to win the finals. I still have the Lakers. I'm not gonna say what the Clippers will or will not do because they let me down every time I say what they will do. But one thing I found this season that I always had to stand up for is I think that Paul George gets an unfair amount of hate for no reason, and to me, it's just corny, and I can't stand it. And it's starting.
Also, man,
it's starting to extend to Kawhi too. Yeah, they are.
This team fight. I love it.
It's starting to extend to Kawhi too, because like people talking crazy about Kawhi. There was like, he's becoming irrelevant now. I knew he couldn't lead a team. Like he needs to do better. And I'm like, dude, it's game 10. They are 6-4. They got the third seed in the West right now. Like they got a brand new coach, brand new players, brand new system, and they're looking fine. And then the guy got a mask that covers his entire face, and he say he struggles to breathe on it. Like I'm like, what are we doing here?
It's nothing wrong with being 3 seed behind the Lakers and the Suns. Nothing at all.
Watch him out, Cam.
Wait. Okay, you know, I ain't need people to say that first. I see what time it is.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, by the way, the Sixers and niggas are playing that game, and only 7 people for the Sixers are playing, and they are Tyrese Maxey, Danny Green, somebody whose name is Joe, somebody's last name Joe. I don't know who that is. Matthias.
Ty Bull. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Matisse Thybulle.
It got D Matthias, so I was confused. No, Matisse Thybulle was not playing. This last guy.
Okay.
This guy last name is Matthias. Dwight Howard. So Danny Green, Tyrese Maxey, Dwight Howard.
Oh, that's it.
Matthias, Joe, a guy named Reed, and a guy named Bradley.
That's
my
God! You know what? I like that. The NBA said if you gonna do dumb shit, you're gonna suffer for it. I respect it.
Because like I'm gonna say this, if Embiid and Simmons were actually hurt, they probably would have let it slide. But it's a simple fact that they weren't on the injury report until they said, all right, y'all still gotta play this game. But we hurt. Well, nigga, that's too bad. Not gonna play with 7 people then. Should have been told us if y'all actually hurt. But right now the game is 32-30 in the second quarter. So
really?
It probably get out of hand in the second half when the players are like dead tired.
Shout out to Doc Rivers putting up a fight.
Yeah, teams they generally don't put up a fight. But anyway, you guys, that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for tuning into the episode of Poppin' the Man podcast. Tune in next week for the episode of your favorite podcast. See you then.